Hello everybody around the world and welcome to The Shift, Awakening as One. My name is Erez, broadcasting live from the Holy Land, bringing the awakening and healing in the Middle East. Today is our first show. In our show we are going to bring teachers from around the world to share their knowledge and experience that is less known here in the area of the Middle East. Our first guest today is Adam Fredriksson, man, son of peace, also known as Lama Rangbar, trained in the Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhist tradition over the past 30 years, a student of His Holiness Dujdum Rinpoche, and founder of Bodhivastu Project. He will share today information about the Tibetan Buddhist teachings and its relation to our changing times. At the end of the show, we are going to do a special Tibetan meditation together for the healing and peace in Israel and the Middle East. Hello, Lama.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not sure what time it is where you are actually. It's still afternoon here, but hello to everybody.
Yeah, it's actually 8 o'clock here in Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, so wonderful to have you on our show.
Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, it's actually, Lama Rangbar is actually the one who introduced me to Tibetan Buddhism, so for me it's a great honor to have him here today. So for the people here who are less familiar with Tibetan Buddhism, can you please share a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Buddhism?
Sure. Well, first of all, I think since it's the first show and since starting things is always like taking aim. You look at your intentions, what you want to accomplish, and for that it's good to always adjust the mind, make the mind clear, and you'll have a better result. So I feel like offering a prayer to start with, because my teachers or the path or the channel by which I've received a lot of guidance is very important, and I consider it a stream of blessings. So I like to just say one prayer to start with, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. That is the 7-line supplication to Guru Rinpoche, or our primordial awareness, our wisdom awareness. And so thank you for letting me start with that. I hope the sound came out okay.
It was really beautiful. So for the people here in Israel, not many people here know about Buddhism. Maybe you can share a little bit about your path and what brought you specifically to Buddhism.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the more I study, the more I practice, the more I meditate, the less difference I find in religions in their heart. That being said, for example, I'm a Jewish person, or my family, I'm born Jewish, my family is Jewish, but they were not practitioners. And I had a lot of spiritual questions as I was young growing up. I used to ask everyone who came to our house, do you believe in God? Is there a God? Or maybe, is there a God? I used to ask them. And the guests were often shocked by that question, because my family was a liberal academic family teaching in colleges. They were atheists, not really believers in God. And so I guess my parents' friends were also like that. So when the kid would say, is there a God? They may have felt a lot of strange pressure to answer one way or the other, but my search began at such a young age, and I always demanded to know, well, what's the real situation here? Can anyone tell me? So I think some people are just born asking these kind of questions. They want to know what the situation really is. And for me, that was a quest that led me to look very deeply. And since you're not likely to find answers looking in external things all the time, it brought me to a Buddhist path. And that is, I think, the essential point of it. We all have, even when we hear as a young child, eventually we hear that people die. And then we become a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous about what that might entail, not to be around. And this essential edginess leads people to check. Of course, combined with their suffering, they're not receiving what they wish for, and they're obtaining what they don't wish for. These things always form a kind of signal system or pressure from the environment to check one's assumptions about life. And that is really, I think, what led me to Buddhism.
So is there a difference between Buddhism and other religions like Judaism and Muslim, and also if one can practice Buddhism without changing his or her religion?
It's a good question. Since we're human beings, we use words, and you use the word religion. So all of a sudden we're into I have to go by the words, right? So I hear a lot of people say Buddhism is not a religion, or Buddhism is a religion, or Catholicism. Some people even said Catholicism is not a religion, it's a relationship, etc., etc. A lot of play on words. But if you look at the word religion in English language, it has in the middle lig, which I think means like ligament. It means to adhere to. And moreover, we say in America, he brushes his teeth religiously, like every day. He watches Monday Night Football religiously. It's a kind of a joke, but basically anything you adhere to as your belief system is your religion, in my way of seeing about that word. So, for example, even if you're an atheist, or even if you are, whatever your view is about reality, even if it's completely your illusion, that's also your religion of illusion. Now, that being said, if that didn't already confuse you enough, basically, I think that on a good day, Buddhism is about uncovering things, scraping away what is untrue, and finding what is true, getting rid of the false, and being able to see truth, let's say. I think Christianity, the Muslim faith, for example, Judaism, all would make similar claims, that those who follow those religions will know the truth. If a religion is not going in that direction because of humankind's failure to penetrate their illusions, well, perhaps maybe that's a limitation of humans, but not the religion. In the end, I would hope to say that regardless of whether you speak Tibetan or Hebrew or Urdu or whatever, that truth is truth. And the Tower of Babel is mentioned as God's kind of punishment for, the breaking up of our languages. It's a metaphor for God's reaction or the environment's reaction to our egocentric arrogance, let's say. So as can we practice Buddhism without changing our religion? I kind of circumvented that question, but I think you really can. I think you can practice Buddhism no matter what religion you're from. I think it will enhance the understanding of any religion.
Would you say there's some people who say Buddhism is more of an art or a science? Can you agree on that? Like, as people see that?
More of a science or a what?
Or of more an art, a way of art.
Well, certainly there are arts in Buddhism. I mean, I think that Buddhism yields sciences. I think Christianity and Islam also yielded sciences. I don't want to use science in a purely Western phrase here. Science is an understanding where you can give proof or have a very firm conviction about the functionings of reality. And I think Buddhism is very strong with the sciences because it seeks to show proof of a certain view, for example. And so it is a science, it has arts in it. These are also skillful means for helping one navigate through our life as human beings and bring our minds. We basically have a choice of having a kind of warped, egocentric, limited view, or a very expansive, awakened view, which is where the word Buddha comes from. So we have a choice to either be awake and see things as they are, or a choice to have an obscured, erroneous phenomena, and that's Buddhism. So arts, I think, and when one reaches the pinnacle, there is an art of expression. It's just the expression of self. The self-expression is an art, sure. I don't disagree.
All right. So I know many people today, they speak about 2012, and the different prophecies from different traditions. And that's also one of the subjects of our show. Does Buddhism have anything to say about that, about 2012 and the shift? Do they have any view on that?
Sure. Any religion that's developed great meditators, people who have looked inside and have developed great insight, will also be aware that there is a relative truth and an absolute truth. The relative truth happens because when you identify, let's say, with your body or your name, I am Adam, I am Erez or something, then the phenomena displays according to those limited perceptions. I don't like to stick my hand in fire because it hurts. I like to have an ice cube on a hot day, these kind of things. What you like, what you don't like. This is all relative, based on the locus of the ego. The absolute is about the non-dual aspect of things, where the identification is not particularly on a limited, distorted ego, but on a more expanded self-recognition, let's say. So, in those situations of great meditative insight, many beings have had insight into the collapse of the three times. That means past, present, and future. When viewed from an absolute point, time and space arise simultaneously. So when one has absolute awareness, let's say, then the three times, the display of what happens in the three times becomes evident in the present. So a saint, or let's say someone with great meditative insight, could write down prophecies about what will happen at certain times. And many of these prophecies are not very good at determining, for example, 2012 and 5 minutes after the hour, etc. They are better, they are couched in poetic language often, and they often say, for example, there's a famous one from Padmasambhava from the 7th century who said, when the iron bird flies and horses have wheels, barbarians will invade the central land of Tibet,